What's up, you guys? All right, so you need to prep a speech and you need to do it quick. And not only that, but you want to do it in 5 minutes or less, dang it. All right, so this is the video for you, where I'm going to be sharing with you exactly how I go about outlining a speech in a way that is simple but makes a lot of sense. And not only that, but is actually very memorable, so you don't have to memorize a whole freaking speech. You can just have your outline and speak clearly and succinctly every time. So let's dive right in. Think of your speech as 3 acts, okay? I apologize. I invited you into an odd corner of my office here where I have an extremely squeaky chair and some random odds and ends and a very generic generic photo back there. So enjoy. All right, so back to it. All right, so you got 3 acts. First thing you want to do, take a 3x5 card. This is very important. I know there's a lot of digital people out there. I am a very digital person. I take all my notes on my phone because then I can search for them later and they're not lost forever in the abyss, right? But in this case, I want you to physically write down your outline within the 5-minute period because it cements it in the brain better than almost anything else. And it's easy to slip into a pocket, something like that. That way, if your phone runs out of battery, I mean, your 3x5 card is not gonna run out of battery. Sorry. 3x5 card. Now I want you to flip it, so I got it like this. Flip it this way. Boop. What's that? Portrait, okay? And write a big A at the top, B about 1/3 of the way down, and then C 2/3 of the way down, okay? At the top, this is your first act, and that is your intro. Now there's some main things you want to cover in the intro, and that is, what are you going to share with the audience? What's in it for them? Why do they want to listen to you? Well, that's actually the other point, but why do they want to be there? What's in it for them, okay? So first thing, you're gonna put a few subpoints under the big A of what the audience can expect out of your presentation. And those would be main points. Now, if I were giving one on light bulbs, let's say I'm giving a presentation on light bulbs, I would outline in there, let's see, they're going to get educated on the different types of light bulbs. Educated is the wrong word because that sounds incredibly boring, but they will get inspired on the different types of light bulbs, and then by the end, have reached a conclusion that will help them save time and money with their light bulb usage in their residential home. And you're going to be explaining why all of that happens, right? So that's what I put as a point on there. The other thing you want to put in the big A, the first act, is why you're qualified to share about that specific subject. If I were talking about light bulbs, you can bet I sure hope I'm an electrician or something like that. Make this interesting, not too lengthy, but make it interesting. So don't just say I'm an electrician. You could say something juicy about it, like I've been an electrician for 10 years, and during those 10 years, I've replaced light bulbs at 27 different Beverly Hills houses, or something like that. I know I'm just making this up as I go, but the point is, put something juicy in it so that you are qualified and people know that you're worth listening to. That's the important part. So that's the other main point under the first act, okay? So once you've got that done, next thing is move on to Act B, which is the delivery. And that is where you are going to deliver the points that you promised to deliver in the first act, right? And keep it simple here. Don't do more than 5 points. I mean, unless you're doing like a whole day, which if that's the case, you're probably not gonna outline your speech in less than 5 minutes. If this is a typical speech, which is an hour or less, I would not do more than 5 points because 1, the audience is not going to remember it, and you as a presenter are not going to remember more than about 3 to 5 points, okay? So in this section, I want you to write the numbers 1 through whatever it is, 1 through 5, and under each of those, state the main point that you're going to be sharing with your audience. Now, if this was light bulbs, I would say, okay, comparison of fluorescent to traditional to LED light bulbs. That's 1 point. Another would be installation of these light bulbs. Another would be the waste factor of these light bulbs. You know, after they're thrown out, which one's most wasteful and that kind of thing. Okay. And once you've got that, if you want subpoints underneath those, that's awesome. Like if you want to remember, oh yeah, there was this one story about how I was installing a light bulb on that one $20 million house, and this happened. You know, that can be fun. You can put a few subpoints under each of those. Again, don't make it too complicated. And then you're ready to move on to Act C, which is the conclusion. This is a strong conclusion. Don't overlook this, guys. Don't let your conclusion die into the sunset. This happens so much where people are like, okay, I got my points, I'm doing it. And then they just don't give any thought to the end where they're at the end and they're saying, oh yeah, so that's my presentation. You know, it's like, yay, but you want to, part of the whole purpose of this channel is to help you to feel confident in presenting, make it more simple, but also so you can be incredibly helpful to people. When you are speaking in public, when you're giving speeches, I want you to be incredibly helpful because that makes you memorable. It gives you credibility and it gives your audience reasons to connect with you further, which you know, connections are what makes the world go around. Like that will lead to your next job opportunity. That will lead to your next deal. Final thing, conclusion, strong conclusion. And this is where your main thing, your main subpoint on this is what do you want them to do, okay? What is the call to action for your speech? Now, in this case, with the light bulbs, it would be, and by the way, based on that information, I want you all to switch to LED light bulbs because they cost less, they're easier to install, and they're have less waste, you know, after you're done with them, or something like that. I have no idea if that's true or not. I'm not an electrician, so if any electricians are out there, feel free to correct me. That's the idea. So some sort of conclusion where you are stating what you want them to do and your key reasons why you want them to do that thing. And if you want to end with a story to really nail in that point, that's incredibly powerful. And then at that point, you just say, and thank you, you know, like that and that. So go ahead and replace all your LED light bulbs because of this story and thank you. And then you're done with your speech. And what you've got is you've got your 3x5 card with your main acts, A, B, C, and you've got your main subpoints. And now you can just slip that in your pocket. And when you're going to give your speech, you pull that sucker out and you can put it, if you have a little stand, awesome. If you don't, then, you know, just think about it beforehand, you know, slip it out occasionally. Like there's nothing wrong with having that type of thing. In fact, that comes across as much more professional than a whole sheaf of papers where you're reading your speech off, because that is freaking boring. Don't do that, okay? Anybody watching this channel, you never give another boring speech ever again. Anyway, hope you like that. If you like that video, go ahead and check out my other videos, especially the one on speaking with zero preparation, because that's like this, but like on steroids, and also public speaking for beginners. That one, I go much more in depth on a lot of these concepts. So if you like that, go and check out those videos. Give this video a like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.